BlackRock just declared that they're just starting. They're just starting to dive into new areas of making money. They're buying up a lot of Bitcoin as well. Let's talk about that. Talk about their new business lines that they're talking about and how this all affects crypto. We have a lot of interesting news here today. This includes a central bank cutting rates tomorrow, most likely, and one that cut rates just a few moments ago. It's a really big country too. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you can see future videos just like this. We'll also include some information about price targets for Bitcoin towards the end of the video and why you might want to hold on to a moon bag no matter what. So stay through to the end. Margex is running a massive campaign right now to give free BOME, Book of Meme tokens. This is one of the largest meme coins out there. And as you trade more on the platform, you can get more of this airdrop. So the airdrop is going for about 2 weeks. I have not placed any trades yet, but I'm definitely going to be taking part in this. All you have to do, click the link underneath the video. If you sign up with that link, you'll be automatically allowed to start trading and you'll be able to start getting some of these tokens. They go through how you claim this as well. There'll be a claim button as well. We'll talk about it. But if you've already signed up with my link, you do need to do one thing. When you click the link underneath the video, if you've already signed up, you still need to go to this page and there'll be a little button that says participate. And you'll click it and then it will start counting your trading. So you do have to press something if you want to get in on this free airdrop. Again, if you've already signed up using my link, make sure you're logged in. Click on the link underneath the video, hit participate, and you'll start being able to trade and getting some of that free BOME. Now, as I said in last night's video, the Bitcoin ETFs bought a lot yesterday, $887 million worth of Bitcoin. This is the 100th trading day. And the ETFs purchased 12,590 Bitcoin, which is 28 days of supply. The majority coming from Fidelity and Blackrock, but great days from ARK as well and Bitwise. Grayscale too. Grayscale had its second best day ever, I believe, buying almost the full daily issuance of Bitcoin. Okay, now Bitcoin's price is falling slightly now, just slightly, 70,600. Seeing maybe a little bit of resistance around this line. You can see from the all-time high, we kind of bumped up against this line now 4 times. Hopefully, though, we see a breakout above this $72,000 mark. I think that would be extremely bullish, extremely bullish. And just to put in context how big yesterday's ETF day was, it's the second biggest day of inflows since launching. Wave 1 of ETF inflows took Bitcoin from 37 to 73K. Wave 2 of inflows is just getting started. I mean, take a look at this. As you can see here, we saw a massive amount of Bitcoin being bought right here. If we look at the price of Bitcoin around this time, up until about 40 days after the ETFs, let's pull this up. Just go to the 1 day here. We went pretty much in a straight line from when these were approved right here. We dipped right away and then we went straight up, which correlates to right when we saw all these inflows. Then we saw a lot of sideways action more recently. You can see there. And that is when we had more fluctuating prices. And now we're more fluctuating inflows and outflows. Negative some days, positive some other days. Now we're starting to see massive Bitcoin buying again. It's only a matter of time. Now, BlackRock obviously has been making a big bet on Bitcoin. We know that they're also betting on a decentralized money market. So they obviously have this massive Bitcoin business. They're starting to buy significant amounts of Bitcoin. Obviously they have for the last couple months, but they're starting to put it also in other retirement or other portfolios as well. So it's not just their Bitcoin ETF that they have. Yes, they have that, but then they're also making money on the Bitcoin ETF through other portfolios because it raises that AUM as Bitcoin's price does well and continues to appreciate. It gives them more AUM in those portfolios, which gives them more fees. They also have that decentralized money market where they can reward or where they can start rewarding holders by giving them yield. They also just announced that BlackRock and Citadel plan to launch a national stock exchange in Texas to compete with the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, so they are not done expanding. Now, a lot of crypto people are pretty excited about this. They think they'll have more functionality, more of an emphasis on crypto than the NYSE does. Okay, so this will be interesting. I'm generally in favor of more competition, so I think this may be a good thing. The other side of it, though, is BlackRock already controls a lot. So do you want BlackRock to control even more? I'm not sure. Let me know down below in the comments section. But yeah, they are taking over. And, if they are bullish on Bitcoin and they do have a stock exchange that gets a lot of publicity, that gets a lot of volume, well, that's probably good for their Bitcoin ETF. Now, as you probably know, I look at crypto all the time, every day. So I'm always watching for newer projects that are coming out that could be interesting. So one interesting project that I've been watching recently is Evercraft Echo Technologies. This is a partner of the channel, and they recently just launched on Uniswap. So if you do want to buy them after this video is done, you can go find them on Uniswap. I'll leave links to them underneath the video as well. But they're really interesting because they're creating a kind of L0, and they're going to be built with Constellation DAG Metagraph, basically allowing them to record CO2 emissions and issuing environmental certificates as NFTs. They have a real commitment to the environment, this project. Now, they're going to have a whole ecosystem around Evercraft. They're going to have an L0 on the Constellation DAG network, providing instant utility, accessibility, and zero fees to stake or transfer. Right now, as well, you get voting and governance influence for holding the token. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I'll leave a link to their website. I'll leave a link to Telegram so that you can join the community. I'll leave a link to their Twitter as well so you can follow with the daily updates. They are audited by Certic as well, so if you want to go read their smart contract audit, you can go find that on their website. This is an ERC20 token on Polygon. And later this year, they're going to actually transfer the token over to Constellation. Now, the reason that they started on ERC20 was so that they could have a lot of liquidity. They had increased liquidity and accessibility for listing on a bunch of exchanges. This ensures more of a dynamic ecosystem, they say, for their community. But as an L0 from Constellation gains prominence, they plan to transition the ESET token to L0, enhancing its utility significantly and its reach. There's going to be a total allocation of 800 million tokens. Their ecosystem is designed to ensure equitable benefits across diverse shareholders. Token holders play a crucial role in financing Evercraft's inaugural commercial ACA facility, a large-scale proof of concept poised to revolutionize the production of carbon nanotubes and graphene. So I want to make sure I get the wording right, as well as the commercial launch of LTC facilities to revolutionize the sector of decentralized energy through waste transformation. Again, if you want to learn more about it, I'll leave links to them underneath the video. Big thanks to Evercraft as well for sponsoring today's video. And tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow's the day. ECB is expected to cut rates for the first time since 2019. All right, everyone's watching this. This will be happening in the next 24 hours. This is bullish for risk-on assets. And get this too, they're not the first central bank to cut. Take a look at this. Bank of Canada cuts key rate to 4.75. They cut the lending rate by 25 basis points as of just a few minutes ago. Okay, stimulation is starting. Global money supply is going to go up. It has to. We know M2 money supply is already increasing too. It's not a huge spike, but we do see M2 money supply increasing and hitting the highest level. This is global M2, hitting the highest level ever. Hence probably why we're seeing record highs in cryptos like Bitcoin, BNB, and why we're also seeing record highs on a lot of stocks. There's just more money floating around. As I've been saying for the last few days, actually the last few years, but a specific emphasis on it the last few days, M2 is really what you want to be paying attention to. So everyone looks at inflation at 2 or 3% and thinks if I get 4% in a money market or 5%, that I'm outpacing inflation. You really want to be looking at global money supply or US money supply. You want to be looking at money supply, not inflation, because money supply goes up faster. Inflation just, it's hard to track. CPI looks at a random group of goods, right? It's not really tracking how much the prices of items go up. And they can take out certain goods and services or goods that they don't want to be included in there, okay? So if something moves up in price too much, we should sub it out for something else, okay? So look at M2. M2 spikes up, Bitcoin spikes up. M2 spikes up, stocks spike up. Homes spike up in price, okay? So as more countries start cutting rates and stimulating more and more, we're going to see the price of hard assets go up. Plan B explains his forward guidance for 2024 and 2025. He says it's not changed since October 2022. This was basically the bottom of the market. It was when Bitcoin was below 20K. He says rise into 2024 halving. Okay, that happened. Having around stock to flow model of 55,000. It's true. We were right around there. I'd say within $5,000 or $10,000. I can't remember the exact price, but it's somewhere right around there. Pump after the halving. Okay, so far we have moved up a little bit after the halving. In 2024, he expects Bitcoin to cross 100,000. And then he says in 2025, reach stock to flow target of 0.5 million. Range from 0.25 to 1 million. Wow, okay. Last cycle, I believe we did hit the stock to flow line. And then we fell back below it, obviously. But this would be an interesting number. I think a lot of people would be happy, obviously, with a $500,000 Bitcoin. I have lower expectations than that, but stock to flow has worked generally really well over time. And when enough people think something's going to happen, oftentimes it gets close to happening and then maybe falls a little bit because people will say, okay, if we're going to hit 0.5, I want to take profits at 400 or 300. Because there's not as much juice from 300 or 400 to 500. And I don't want to be the person that sells right at 500 because there are going to be a lot of people selling at 500. So then we actually go up to like 300, maybe 400, and then people take profits ahead of time. That's just if enough people think that this is where we're going to hit. Now, a lot of people also think we're going to hit 140, 220, right? So I'm not expecting Bitcoin to go to 500,000 this cycle in the next year and a half. But I'm going to hold on to a bag no matter what. Here's a really interesting clip by Michael Saylor talking about why you shouldn't sell your Bitcoin. Basically, I'm not going to play it, but basically he just talks about how if you had bought Apple back in 2000 and you were really excited because you bought it at $1, it went up to $2 and you're trading back and forth, you should have just held it. Like it was going to be the future, and yet you're trying to buy and sell an asset that's going to grow 100x in the next 20, 25 years, and you're just worried about the short term. Now, I think everyone should have a plan, whether it's to sell some of your Bitcoin or whether it's to hold on to all your Bitcoin. Just make sure that you know your plan so that way you don't get emotional in the moment. But I think of this another way. If everyone was riding bikes, let's say you always rode a bike to get to wherever you're going, and all of a sudden you see a train station. Okay, there's a train station, so you can get different places faster. Sometimes you go the wrong way, sometimes you go the right way. But you get on a train, and it takes you like a tenth of the way to where you want to go. And you're like, wow, that was super fast. But then you stop. You stop for a while at a rest stop or a train station, right? And then you're like, screw this, I'm going to go grab my bike, and I'll ride the rest of the way. I made a lot of distance up. Like I did a really good job because I'm a tenth of the way to where I need to be, and I didn't waste any energy. That's kind of how I see Bitcoin, right? Like when some people try to sell everything because they're up 30%, 40%, 50%, like this is going to get much bigger. So yeah, maybe you want to take some profits off the table, but you always want a long-term bag, in my opinion, because we're only a tenth of the way there. We have a lot more to grow. So make sure that you understand that. And hopefully that's a good explanation for why you might want to hold on to some Bitcoin throughout this next bull run, even if we continue to race higher and higher. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. If you are bullish, if you think we're going to see more inflows, maybe you want to go put on a long position over on Margex. Okay, just something to consider. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I really appreciate it. You can check out ESET underneath the video as well.